Fam, what's going on? Can I get a roll tide inside the comment box? What's going on? I appreciate you guys being here. Thank you so much for joining me right here on BAMA Football on YouTube. Thank you. I appreciate it. I know there's a million different places that you could be right now at 9 a.m. Central Time on this beautiful God-given Wednesday, but you choose to be with me right here on Bama Football on YouTube. It means so much to me, and I appreciate you. I just want you to know that I am really grateful for you being here, all right? Every day I like to practice gratitude, and I'm grateful for you guys. So thank you so much, and that's how we do it right here on Bama Football on YouTube. Dave, what's going on? Vanna, Ryan, Chris, Getbox, what's going on? Love the emojis. Remember, use the emojis inside the comment box. Think about becoming a fan funder, only $2.99 to support the product right here on Bama Football on YouTube. All right, so we're talking fall camp news today. All right, I'm feeling good. Look, first of all, if you're a parent out there and you're starting school this week, I started school, sent the kids off, have a sophomore in high school, okay, and I have a sixth grader. So cheers to you if you sent off a little one to school. We are blessed for another year with our greatest blessings, which is our children, right? So happy school year to you. Keep grinding. The consistency helps. The consistency works. And here to talk about fall camp news right here on Bama Football on YouTube. I'm going to open up the call line 205-850-1994. Today on the show, right? Turbo Rogers, he on Flip Watch. Where's he been, right? Tom Loy of 24/7 Sports says that he could be on Flip Watch, and we're going to talk about where in the show. Xavier Brown, he's in a cast. Now it's like a cast. He was in kind of like a half cast, now he's in a full cast. Going to talk about that. Jalen Mbakwe, who's pictured right here. We need to talk more about Jalen Mbakwe, right? One of these freshmen who's absolutely balling. You have a freshman, right? Xavier Brown, and then you just have another freshman behind him. These freshmen came to play, 1,000,000%. Inside linebacker unit, I have to talk about the inside linebackers today. I just have to hype these guys up. The defense, I mean, look, people are going to have questions about Alabama's defense. You lose Nick Saban, you lose Kevin Steele. I thought the defense got basically put back on track last year, and Kane Womack, man, if there's a coach out there that has a lot of pressure, that really, we haven't really talked about pressure because you don't talk about that, but man, look, when you come to Alabama, the standards of Alabama football, defense, right? People, if you want to piss off Alabama fans, don't play defense, right? Your defense is going to be under a microscope. Even though this might be a new offensive type team in grass basketball, which Kalen DeBoer, who knows, he could score 65 points a game. The game has changed. And even scoring like 21 or allowing 21 points, you're like, okay, like that's fine. So Kane Womack has some inside linebackers to absolutely work with. A 3-back attack, look, probably not, but there's 3 quality backs. Richard Young, look, he's now 215 pounds, right? We talked about the heights and weights and the fact that he added 15. What's up, Patriot Life? I see you inside the comment box. Same thing with Jimmy Lee Baker, Southern Red. I appreciate you being here. 215 pounds. Somebody said that he's comparable to Bo Scarborough. Look, I love the comparison. The guy's an absolute beast. Coach Kalen DeBoer even said that he loves his explosive ability. If you watch the game during A-Day, the guy was running over his own teammates. All right, so Richard Young absolutely is a beast and a guy who could certainly be utilized. We're going to also talk about the freshman report right here on the show. What that is going to entail is me talking about freshmen that I know about that have been contributing. I'm not going to mention all the freshmen, but it should be entertaining. We got 97 people watching. If you could do me a favor and hit the thumbs up, I'd appreciate it. Roger, what's up, man? I appreciate you for being here. Thank you so much for being here inside the comment box, man. Look, I got a lot of energy, man. If you don't want a show with energy, there's plenty of other shows to go that are more monotone. Mine's not going to be monotone because I get one trip around this life, and I am going to go heavy. All gas, no brakes. That's what we do right here on Bama Football on YouTube. I have someone think about it like this. I am playing for keeps, right? My livelihood every single day depends on my consistency and performance. I'm not a salary type employee. It's not. And you know what? I like it like that. I like when the back's against the wall. I like kind of being, forgotten about by all the other sites, right? Kind of that outside, because people know, like, they'll be like, they know what I got, right? And I have that pressure, and I understand the responsibilities of running a channel like this. So I like it. I like it like this. And I like you guys being here too. So thank you so much for being a member of Bama Football on YouTube. Let's talk about Turbo Rogers. Okay, so Turbo Rogers, Patriot Life, inside with fan funderships. I appreciate you. Thank you so much for continuing to help the community grow right here on Bama Football on YouTube. Oh, guys, see, you keep the energy, man. I go hard, man. I'm not going to, well, the end of Bama Crimson Tide, to turn the page and talk about Turbo Rogers. And, I don't know about Turbo Rogers because Turbo Rogers is just a guy that, I don't know. That's just not my style, man. All right, Turbo Rogers. Number one, look, if this guy does flip and it is to Auburn, that's the latest from Tom Loy of 24/7 Sports. You can read all your recruiting websites. There's a million of them. You used to pay for that type of information. Now it's pretty much all free. And everybody's having to adapt and change the way that they cover Alabama football because you used to have to be behind a paywall. That's not necessarily the case. All the recruiting sites giving their information for free. That's just the world. You adapt or you die. There's certain sites that, guys, very talented employees don't even work out anymore because they couldn't afford it because it's a changing market. Turbo Rogers was at the IMG Academy, right? He's 5'10", 180 pounds. The guy is elusive. He's lightning quick. And he is now at Carver in Montgomery. Ultra talented. It's been quiet. People haven't had an update on Turbo Rogers. Guys who are able to get to these prospects, able to get the interviews, haven't got a hold of Turbo Rogers. When's the last interview that you've seen from Turbo Rogers, right? He wasn't even at the cookout and the barbecue. Now, with that said, even when Coach Saban left, he stayed pretty quiet. Turbo Rogers is legit, I'm telling you. And if he does decommit and he goes somewhere else, please do not hate on the kid, right? It's early in the process, and we have to understand if you're 17 years old, 18 years old, you have big decisions to make. Turbo Rogers, I think right now, he's kind of sitting back and trying to figure it out. I have no idea. It could be something completely different. But Auburn, what we know, this is fact, okay? What I'm going to tell you is fact, okay? Auburn has, out of the 10 top players in the state of Alabama, Auburn has 8 of them, right? Is it 8 of them? Or is it 7? And I think Alabama has 2, and then Ohio State, I think that's it. So Auburn has 7 of the top prospects of the 10 in the state of Alabama. Alabama has 2, Turbo Rogers and Micah DeBose. And then Naheem Oford is committed to Ohio State, right? Look, Auburn is getting people. They are flipping guys. They flipped, a couple from Alabama, Antonio Coleman. They flipped Derek Smith. I know Tom Loy said that Auburn could be in play to flip Turbo Rogers. Could it happen? Maybe. But there's another running back that Alabama certainly has their eye on, and that's A.K. Deer. What's the holdup there? Who knows? Maybe he's just taking his time. Maybe he wants to see how Alabama utilizes their running backs this coming season in a 3-back attack, a 2-back attack, whatever Coach Kalen DeBoer is going to use. Now, you have to understand that in the system here at Alabama, the running backs are going to eat. He had a 1,000-yard running back at Washington last year. If Turbo does flip, will it hurt? For sure. I think he's a really high-quality running back, but, hey, you got to do what's best for yourself. I would never hate on the kid if he does flip to Auburn. I think it stings if it was an in-state, flip, but, that's how it goes. And Auburn is paying, right? Auburn they have the checkbook out. They want people, but this is also fact, okay? Number one, Auburn's not even ranked in the top 25. And number 2, Auburn has to win on the football field, okay? Last year, my alma mater took it to Auburn, New Mexico State. All right? I mean, that's fact. Last year, Alabama beat Auburn. That's fact. Okay? You can talk about facts. You can talk about hypotheticals. What I just said is fact. Three things. Auburn has 7 of the top 10. Auburn lost to New Mexico State. Auburn lost to Alabama. So, and Tom Loy did say that he's on flip watch. I think Ohio State could be another destination for Turbo Rogers. Whatever the case is, he's a very talented in-state prospect. I think he's going to have a monster season. And just like Chris from New Jersey is saying, he's talking about A.K. Deer. Look, it's not like Alabama's going to fall and get a 2-star running back. There's running backs aplenty. All right? And Auburn has the money. And you know what? So does Alabama. Remember, there was a time where we thought that Alabama was broke. Remember that time, like back in January? We're like, Alabama's broke. We can't, like, you know, they can't compete. And, you know, okay, you got all the guys on the basketball team, right? Omari, you know, like all these guys who Nate Oates was able to piece together. I don't think those guys came for free. You look at what Alabama's been doing, you know, in the transfer portal and recruiting itself. Like, I don't think those guys are coming for free. I think the brand exposure certainly helps, and the NIL and, you know, everything that Yay Alabama and Lank is helping, you know, kind of build. But Alabama's not broke. Patriot Life, man. I appreciate you being here. Jimmy Baker, Brian, Russell, Todd Tipton, man. What's up, man? I appreciate you being here. Jeffrey, man, active in the comment box. I appreciate it, man. Thanks for being here, C-Dub. I always see you inside the comment box. Remember, we're on Spotify, too. You can search on Spotify, BAMA Football on YouTube. I think I have like 9 people listening on Spotify. But you're not entitled to anything. You're not entitled to subscribers. You're not entitled to viewers. Like, that's what I love about the lives. Like, people choose to watch you. Like, the 142 people, you guys could be doing anything else in your life, but you guys are here talking Alabama football with me, which I appreciate. Thank you so much. Talking about Turbo Rogers. Here's what we're hitting on today. Turbo Rogers, Xavier Brown in a cast, and Jalen Mbakwe in. So we'll hit on that next. Let me ask you this. Let me just straight up. Do you think that Turbo Rogers, yes or no, will flip from Alabama? Not to, like, I'm not asking where, but do you think that he will flip from Alabama somewhere else? Type Y inside the comment box. If you think he's going to stick, type N. Let's see it inside the comment box. I appreciate it. And just like Todd's saying, Bama doesn't have a salary issue, right? And I think that's a really good point. I don't think they're going to overpay for different type of players. And look, Coach Kalen DeBoer, he has been on record saying that every single prospect that he meets with, money is always part of the equation. That's the world that, like, legally, you know, they can get paid. It's kind of split. I mean, this would be a hell of a poll, right? I don't think anybody really understands. David with the super chat. Appreciate you being here. Man, thank you so much. Appreciate you with the super chat, David. Thank you very much. 1999. Damn. That's a heavy super chat. And then we got Patriot Life in with some fan funders helping build this great community right here on Bama Football on YouTube. Lance is saying he's gone. I kind of feel like I don't really make predictions. I don't talk to these kids. I've always said this. There's people whose job kind of revolves around calling like 16-year-olds, 15-year-olds. I have a 15-year-old, and I don't know. Like, I don't want anybody calling him. Now, if he's a 5-star recruit, I understand it's part of the business. It's just like, I don't want people trying to figure out where my 15, 16-year-old is going over the weekend. It's kind of weird to me. And maybe that's just because I have a kid who's that age. I don't know. But recruiting is recruiting. And we're keeping an eye on Turbo Rogers. So we'll keep you posted as things happen. And that was brought to you by Tom Lloyd. I think even Steve Whitfong, who's one of the best in the business. He's for On3. Tom Lloyd's for 24/7. So you have all these different guys out there, you know, with major updates as it pertains to recruiting. And I think each of them has said that he's on flip watch. He's been very quiet. There's been no, I mean, honestly, for those of you out there that have recruiting information to these sites, like, when's the last time you saw even an update from Turbo Rogers, right? I kind of like, you know, this graphic says live. It's just quiet. Hey, man, KD, I see you inside the comment box, man. Thank you so much for being here. Appreciate it. All right, let's talk about I gave you a sneak peek of the freshman report. Not yet. Hang tight. Okay, point number 2. I'll open up the phone lines in just a second. Hey, Patriot Life. Another 20 spot. Thank you so much. I appreciate you guys continuing to support the channel right here on Bama Football on YouTube. Patriot Life. Thank you so much, David, as well. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Okay, so Xavier Brown, he's a freshman. He's a corner. Damani Jackson on one side at corner, Xavier Brown on the other. Those, like, if Alabama was to have a game today, those would be your starting corners. And that was a couple days ago. Now, Xavier Brown has suffered what appears to be a minor hand injury, okay? He was in kind of like a half cast Like, picture if it was taped, and now he's like got one of the clubs on. Now, he plays on the defensive side. We've seen plenty of players play with clubs on their hands. Specifically, the defensive back position, not that big of a deal. I think he's going to be fine sooner than later. In fact, Kane Womack yesterday on his press conference said that Xavier Brown should be good to go sooner than later, which is good news, okay? But while he's, kind of getting back to full speed, another freshman was swapped in at the first team. And that is Jalen Mbakwe, who's pictured right here, number 9. Jalen Mbakwe, I think, is a fan favorite, kind of waiting to explode. Right, people loved him at Clay Chalkville. Right, won a state championship, going head to head against Ryan Williams. I think he's one of the faster players in that freshman class. He can play corner. I think he's just a very, very talented overall athlete and a very good person. And I think when you talk about in-state guys, yeah, Auburn might be doing their thing right now with in-state guys, but the in-state guys are playing here at Alabama. Like Jalen Mbakwe. Hey, there's a super chat emoji. I like that. I don't even know how that's happening. What is happening? But that looks cool. I like it. And then you have like Ryan Williams out of Saraland, right? We're going to talk about him on the freshman report. But Jalen Mbakwe in. Now, you also have Deshaun Jones, who I think is going to push for that starting spot at corner as well. Now, theoretically, Alabama could have 2 starters at the corner position that are each transfers, right? And a starter in the secondary at the safety spot who's also a transfer in, which is Keon Sabb. This is the world of college football, right? You kind of load up on your needs and you go to the transfer portal and, you bring in guys that can play right away. Seldomly do you see guys transfer in and not play. Maybe they're underclassmen, but like a Cam Howard or a King Mack, I think those guys could be utilized, but I don't see them as starters at this point in time. Now, things can change because of injuries, depth chart movements, players have breakouts, whatever. But Jalen Mbakwe, I think it's really notable that Xavier Brown, goes down with a minor hand injury just for like a day or so. Kevin Lynch with 10, man. I appreciate you. Thank you so much. And then another freshman steps in. And you know what? We're going to talk about him in just a second as well. Is Zay Mincy is also in the fold at defensive back. And he's been getting coached up by Mo Lindquist. He really has. That's a good sign, man. I think Mo Lindquist is, I hope he stays for more than a season. He is such a quality addition to this football team. He really is. And I know, look, T-Rob, he left and people had great respect for him. Never really got to hear him speak because that was, Nick Saban's philosophy. But Mo Lindquist is absolutely the man. He's a head coach somewhere else sooner than later. I mean, he was the head football coach at the University of Buffalo before he came over here. So we're on point 2. Xavier Brown in with the cast, and then you sub in Jalen Mbakwe. We'll go to the phone lines real quick, and we'll take a 404. Hey, you're on the line with Kyle Henderson. Who am I on the line with, and where are you calling in from?
Hello, my name is Isaiah, and I'm in Georgia.
Isaiah, what's up, man? I hope you're having an amazing Wednesday, August 7th. Isaiah, come with it, man. Thanks for calling from Georgia.
Man, I appreciate you, man. I've been calling in so many times, man, actually trying to reach you. I would actually like to talk about Emmanuel Henderson because I don't think he gets enough love in the receiving corps.
You know what? Thank you so much for calling, first of all. And I love Emmanuel Henderson, and I love this point because I think when you talk about the Alabama wide receivers, sometimes what happens is we start to overshadow players because of our excitement for players who just got here. For example, like we'd love to talk about Ryan Williams, and he is that guy. I promise you, he is. But like we're even forget about Kendrick Law. How many times have we talked about Kobe Prentice? Right? We really haven't. And he saw plenty of game action last year. You also have Jim Bernard. And Emmanuel Henderson, by the way, when you're watching these footage, he's number 3. He changed his number from 24 to number 3. Look, Emmanuel Henderson, if utilized correctly, I think he has it. So I really appreciate you bringing up Emmanuel Henderson. No relation. Even though I was a wide receiver, I think he's a little bit more talented than me, of course. But maybe this will be his year. Now, he was shortchanged because of a hip injury last season, but Emmanuel Henderson, certainly a guy that I have my eyes on, too. What else you got, Isaiah?
Okay, and I actually want to talk about James Smith as well because I don't think he actually gets enough love. He was a 5-star kid out of the, Mobile area, if I'm correct. Mm-hmm. And last year, when I watched him some, he did look pretty talented, and I would just love to see him get on the field way more.
Yeah, I mean, you look to who Alabama has right now. Hey, C.J. Jackson, I appreciate the super chat, man. Thank you so much. The 50 spot from Fairhope. Beautiful Fairhope, Alabama, man. I've been to the Grand one time down there. My goodness, if you want a vacation, go to the Grand. This isn't a commercial, but it should be, because they treated me like they were so nice to me. And thank you so much. People from L.A., that's Lower Alabama, thank you so much. Regarding James Smith, you have Tim Smith, you have Tim Keenan. Yesterday, I'm sure you guys saw the interview with Tim Keenan. I get happy when I talk about Tim Keenan because he's an in-state guy out of Ramsey who I think, he's worked hard to get where he's at. He's had a lot of body transformation. He's doing really well. I think James Smith has it. He's super athletic, and I think that he can be an added addition this year. I don't think he's going to have to wait too much longer to get on the field. And that's the thing about Alabama's defensive front, kind of looking at the pieces in the depth chart. You're going to see a heavy rotation, I feel, with guys. That's why I list guys like multiple first-team type guys. Like, it's just not, based on different formations. Maybe a guy needs a blow, whatever the case is. James Smith is another guy that I'm excited about as well. I think he plays a significant amount this season. What else you got, Isaiah?
Okay, I won't hold you up too much longer, but I think a lot of people – they actually downplay kind of our trenches, the offensive and defensive line. I think both of those units will be strong. But Kane Womack, he's more of a linebacker coach.
Yeah.
So I want to know, do you think that maybe we will use more linebacker blitzes, seeing as that Jahad Campbell and also Jeremiah Alexander were both originally committed as edge rushers? So could you see us maybe blitzing them from the middle linebacker position? What do you think about that?
There's a very good soundbite from Kane Womack talking about defensive pressure. And when Kane Womack was first hired, there were some people that I spoke to said, one thing that'll instantly happen, there'll be a heavy emphasis on turnovers because of pressure. And Kane Womack was just talking about that, I think, a couple days ago. He listed the number of pressures like in the NFL and how it translated to turnovers. And this was also interesting, and I'm curious to see, I doubt they show it in the scrimmage coming up on Saturday or Sunday, whenever it is. But you had Justin Jefferson, you had Deontay Lawson, and you had Jahad Campbell on the field at the same time. What type of package is that? And then you look at, the wolf position. Could it be Q Robinson? Could it be Keanu Coe? Could it be Quay Russo? Yeah, all those names should get you excited, and I think defensive pressure will be something that even this bandit position can provide. Jamarian Lathan, maybe he's another player that we aren't talking enough about. Same thing with Keon Keeley. You saw that he added, 35 pounds of muscle to get ready for this bandit position. So really excited to see the pressure, but Alabama fans want pressure on the quarterback. That's something that certainly has to happen for this for a secondary. I wouldn't say a young secondary, but a secondary that hasn't played together. I think they're going to, gain a lot of momentum if the defense is able to get after the quarterback, which I think they will. But you are facing some very experienced quarterbacks in the first half of the season. Anything else, Isaiah?
I got a few more points I want to hit on.
Go ahead, man.
I feel like that they show that they give Jalen Milroe no respect. Because a few years ago, if you remember, Anthony Richardson came out of Florida with a lot of the same talent, but he was shown so much love. And Jalen Milroe had a better year last year than Anthony Richardson ever had in his career. So I don't understand where the hate comes from.
I think it comes from the fact that people just want to hate. A lot of people, you saw the same thing with Jalen Milroe. There was a time where nobody wanted Mac Jones to start, if you can believe that. When Mac Jones, I'll never forget, when Mac Jones was going to be the quarterback and Bryce had just got here, people wanted Bryce to start, even though he hadn't even played a game. Mac Jones goes out and goes undefeated in 2020 and wins a national championship. The thing with Jalen Milroe is for every good thing that he does, people they have PTSD from the Texas game. Right. And with the offensive line that underperformed, you look at the fact that he's had multiple offensive coordinators, which riles people up. But that's the truth. Damn, David with the 100 spot. Woo, man. The show's popping today, man. Thank you so much. People are going to hate. And look, Jalen Milroe is the guy. And just like Byron's saying inside the comment box, he's getting ready to show people. So, for the haters out there, I'm sure he's kept receipts and you guys will see. But look, if he would have entered the transfer portal and there were so many people that hit him up in his, slid into his DMs, any college football program would be lucky to have Jalen Milroe, not only as a player, but as an ambassador of the program and a leader within the locker room. What else you got, Isaiah?
Okay, I'm pretty much good with that. I just hope that we can have a good year where we actually can, I don't want to say blow teams out, but I feel like that helped our player development. Like you mentioned, Mac Jones' year. Mac Jones was so good because Tua blew so many people out in the first half, where Mac Jones was actually getting to get quality playing time in real games. So I feel like when we get back to playing our standard, that our younger guys could actually get on-field experience in quality games, and it would do nothing but help us in the future.
Yeah, no doubt, man.
I appreciate you, Mr. Henderson. You're doing great, man, and continue with the progress.
All right, man.
I love your show, man.
Thank you, Isaiah. Thank you so much, man. All right, we got a 205 and a 770 lined up right next on Bama Football on YouTube. Special thanks to David for hitting up with a 100 spot, CJ Jackson in with 50, Patriot Life. A lot of super chats today, which I greatly, greatly appreciate. I have a lot of gratitude for everybody that's supporting the channel right here on Bama Football on YouTube. Let's move to point number 3, and I got a couple callers that I'll get to, a 256 and a 770. Inside linebacker unit. Look, yesterday, one thing that really made kind of my ears perk up, my eyes kind of pay attention, was the fact that Jahar Campbell and Deontay Lawson and Justin Jefferson out there running like they're 200 pounds. Like, these guys are close to 250 pounds, each of them, and they're out there with like the athleticism that, can you imagine being Kane Womack, okay? And no disrespect to any of the players at South Alabama, right? It's just a different level. Can you imagine being Kane Womack and just showing up and you're like, you look at your inside linebacker group and you're like, man, these are my guys. Then you have Jeremiah Alexander. Then you have like Justin Okoronkwo, who, by the way, is a baller, right? Caden Jones. Like, these are the next guys in line. These are who I have to work with. So that's kind of also why I kind of throw like that added pressure wrench on the defensive side, because look at the components that you have to work with. Man, Deontay Lawson, I think he probably, if not one of the best in the SEC, probably the best in the entire country. And Jahar Campbell, I'm telling you, look, let me ask the undefeated right here inside the comment box. Who is excited for Jahar Campbell to go off this year? Right? If you're excited for Jahar Campbell, type a J inside the comment box. Like Jahar Campbell, remember when he came in Mississippi State? How many tackles did he have last year? He had like 14 tackles in that game. He might go higher in the draft than Deontay Lawson, just based on his ceiling. I think Deontay Lawson is a little bit closer to a ceiling, but I think Jahar Campbell he's not close to a ceiling. That's my personal opinion. I'm not hating on anybody. That's just how I feel when watching the guys, right? And Jimmy Lee Baker saying they both 10 top 10 picks. All right, let's take this 256. Hey, you're on the line with Kyle Henderson. Who am I on the line with, and where are you calling in from?
This is Daryl from Huntsville.
Coach Daryl. Man, it's so good to hear from you, man. Thank you so much for calling in today, Coach. So, look, we've had, 5 days of practice. We have a microscope on everything. What have been some early observations, Coach, as we kind of look to Alabama Crimson Tide football moving through fall camp?
Defensive line depth and solidifying the offensive line. That's what I got my own, and that's what it looks like it's going fine. Defensive line, and when you can rotate players, and you have packages, and those packages are productive, it's pretty hard for somebody to get a bead on what you're doing. Because if the first guys can stop the run, get them off schedule, hold you to 2 yards, 3 yards or less, and it's third down, 6, third down to 7 consistently.
Yeah.
And you got the rabbit packages that come in, the rush, and blitz, and create chaos. It's going to be a hard time for somebody. It's going to bring back a lot of good memories for us who know Alabama as a defensive team, a team that can run the ball when they need to run it. Because there comes a time in the game you need to run the football. And when you not only need to run it, you can run it whenever you want and get 4 or 5 yards. When you can do that consistently, you're gonna be hard to beat. And the Jalen Milroe. Now I will say, some of the criticism is deserved.
Mm-hmm.
Because he took 42 sacks last year. Most all of them weren't his fault, but quite a few of them were.
Great point.
I just think he has to make quicker decisions. I mean, to get out of the pocket and run. I mean, if you got 5 yards, take it. Don't try to throw the ball. If you got 5 yards, take it. If you got 3 yards, take that. He has to make quicker decisions, and he has to be better in the mid range. That's my concern. And I can't wait to see the game against Western Kentucky. And, of course, the first test of the season is going when we go to Camp Randall. That's going to be a test. I expect us to beat them by at least 2 touchdowns, but they're not going to be easy. They're going to compete. Alabama's that's a historic trip. I think that'll be the first time Alabama ever played Wisconsin in Wisconsin. I think everything else been on a neutral field.
Yeah.
So. Can he? If he improves, if he improves in the mid range, like the quarterback at Washington, Penix.
Yep.
I saw Penix at Indiana. I mean, he didn't impress me. And when I saw him at Washington, I was like, wow, what happened? Man, what is this the same Michael Penix that was at Indiana?
Yeah.
I mean, the transformation was amazing. He was cool. He was calm. He knew where he was going. He understood his reads. He understood what his receiver was supposed to do. And when he didn't, he either threw the ball away or he got the yardage he could. He wasn't a great runner like Milroe, but if he had 4 yards, he'd take it.
Yep.
So I want to see that transformation with him. If I can see that transformation with him, big things going to happen this year at Alabama. They got us number 6, which I'm not surprised because you remember last year when they had us ranked, they held us out of the top 5 spot until they couldn't deny it. And when we beat Georgia in the SEC, they kept us at number 8 the whole second half of the season, which was ridiculous.
Yeah.
and when we beat Georgia, they couldn't deny us anymore. So that's not surprising. That just gives us fuel for the fire, and to realize they can say whatever they want to say. They need Alabama because Alabama is that name. It's just like baseball without the Yankees. That ain't gonna happen. Forget it.
Coach,
So,
I wanted to ask you about these receivers, okay? Because there's the talent in this receiving room. It gets me excited. All right, and for whatever reason, we're not talking about like Isaiah from Georgia who called in earlier. Nobody's talking about Emmanuel Henderson. And nobody's like on the national level, besides our Alabama ecosystem, is talking about Kendrick Law, which is just crazy. And I don't know what's more crazy, that people aren't talking about Kendrick Law or that people aren't talking about Jam Miller, right? I get it. Justice Haynes is like that guy, but people have no idea how good Jam Miller is. But the receivers, like, man, there's so much talent. Kendrick Law, Kobe Prentice, Jeremy Bernard, of course, Ryan Williams. There's Bubba Hampton right there, number 21. This is Ryan Williams, number 2. I mean, what's kind of been your early assessment about these wide receivers, and how do you think they'll be utilized this season for Alabama?
3 words: deep, versatile, and explosive.
Ooh, love it.
They have all 3 of those attributes. They're deep. They're versatile. They not only can run deep routes, they can run the intermediate routes. They can run the intermediate deep routes. They can run the over routes. They are deep, talented. See, it's one thing to be a receiver. It's another thing to understand how to get open.
Yes.
How to use your leverage.
Ooh, I like that.
How to get to a point where I know I need a first down. I'm not going to stop myself till I get past the sticks. When you understand that, and you got the speed and the talent that these guys got, danger, Will Robinson.
Yep. And you know what? The thing about being a wide receiver, too, that I think these wide receivers will do is a lot of it is coming back to the football, right? Understanding kind of down and distance. Right. Where do I have to get, but do I have to come back to my quarterback? I think these wide receivers are experienced enough to be able to do that. And I think, honestly, if you're creative enough, whether it's some jet sweeps, whatever it is, that I think these wide receivers absolutely going to wreak havoc on, college football. Hey, Coach Darrell, I got to get to my next caller, but I really appreciate you calling in. I love catching up with you. You have such great football context and dialogue. Coach Darrell out of Huntsville, thank you so much for calling in, man. Appreciate you.
I already know it's always my pleasure.
Hell yeah, man. All right, sounds good.
All right.
All right, we got a 770 up next. But before that, I want to get to my freshman report and talk about the freshmen. So 770, please hang tight. That was Coach Darrell calling in from Huntsville. I appreciate the super chats once again from David, CJ. If I didn't mention you in the super chat list, Patriot Life, I saw you in there as well. Thank you so much, big or small. Every single thing helps. This is my livelihood. This is how I make a living. So if you like the content, if you like the delivery, if you like the energy, then, hit the thumbs up. Honestly, level 2, if you want to become a fan funder, $2.99. You want to take it up a notch, hit the super chat. I appreciate you guys just being here, watching the product right here on BAMA Football on YouTube. I literally put my heart and my soul into the shows, into the channel, and I hope you guys can feel that. Let me talk about the freshman report. And again, I cook up all the graphics myself, so if you might see like an error, let me know inside the comment box. I'm happy to go back and fix it for my next show. I can't fix anything that's already out there, but on my next show, I like to tighten it up. So kind of have eyeballs on the graphics, and I'll definitely fix those. All right, let's talk about the freshman report. Let me set this up real quick because this is going to be good. 3, 2, 1, 3, 2, 1. Let's have some fun. Hey, what's going on? It's Kyle Henderson of BAMA Football on YouTube. Thanks for watching BAMA Football on YouTube. This is the freshman report after 5 days of practice. And look, I'm not going to mention all of the freshmen that have in the class of 2024. There's a lot of moving parts, but from what I gather, what I talked to, here's some information on the freshmen that is worth talking about. I'll make it full screen so you guys can check that out. It is sorted alphabetically. I'm very A-type, so I put things always in lists. So let's kind of start at the top, and let's talk about Bubba Hampton. Bubba Hampton is probably another player that we don't really talk enough about, but he's a wide receiver that came here as an athlete. And Coach Saban, before he left, said, Bubba Hampton's got some dog in him. And, man, to think about, he came here and he added on 19 pounds, right? Early enrollee, added on 19 pounds, now at 194 pounds. He's number 21 out there. He's making plays. He's good, man. Don't forget about him. And I think when Kobe Prentice moves on, he can play that H position. Cole Adams, also a kind of a shifty guy, wide receiver that can make plays across. I didn't know he added 19 pounds. That is really impressive, and a credit to him in terms of how good do you want to be? Where do you have to get to play at this level? And certainly getting close to 200 pounds. Man, I can't even imagine with his versatility and his speed at 95 pounds. It's super impressive. Caleb Odom, he's working with the threes right now. What stands out to me is just his overall size. Truth be told, I like to see a little bit more explosion when I watch him in the practice highlights. And again, I don't see him practicing. I don't see his entire practicing, but, get off the line, have that explosion. 6'5", 227 pounds. In some of the highlights, he's made some one-handed grabs. He has it. Please do not forget about Caleb Odom. In game situation last year during his final year of high school, my goodness. The guy was a nightmare. I was so happy when he moved from tight end to wide receiver, because I think Alabama has been lacking a big, tall wide receiver for many years that you can get the football to, and I think Caleb Odom will be that guy. I don't know if it'll be this year, but when his name is called, I think he'll be ready for it. Casey Poe, outside of Keon Keeley, who I think made the biggest gain with 35 added pounds, Casey Poe, there's people who thought Casey Poe would could push for a starting spot this year. Far-fetched. Maybe with the twos, he put on 32 pounds. 32 pounds. Keon Keeley put on 35. These guys, that's the beautiful thing about the University of Alabama, is they are going to get you from a dietary standpoint, where you need to be, right? Steven, what's up? I see you inside the comment box. Thank you so much for being here, running through my freshman report after 5 practices. Jay Kirkpatrick, another guy, a legacy player. You want to feel old? Like, yeah, he's going into his freshman season at the University of Alabama. Put on 18 pounds now, 210 pounds. He made some plays during the spring game. People were sleeping on him. Have him as a 3-star. Henry Hubbard, thank you so much for the $5 super chat. Appreciate you, man. Thank you so much. It goes a long way. Look, the guys in the secondary are more experienced that are going to play. But Jay Kirkpatrick, as he continues to develop, pretty impressive that he's already at 210 pounds and a completely different body type than his dad. I think he's kind of a guy that reminds me of almost a DeMarco Helms, right? He can come up and hit you, but he has some playmaking ability too. I mean, I kind of rewind to the All-Star game between Mississippi and Alabama where he had 2 interceptions. He had an interception in the spring game. Yeah. Jay Kirkpatrick, man, coming with it. Jalen Mbakwe, okay, second team corner right now, but now with the first team as Xavier Brown has that minor injury in the cast. Jalen Mbakwe, man, like, he has it. These freshmen, for all the secondary players that left, Alabama, man, like Jalen Mbakwe, Zay Mincy, Jay Kirkpatrick, Bubba Hampton, Zay Mincy, like, man, these guys came in. Red Morgan. I don't have him on. Oh, yeah, I have him on this graphic. These guys came in. Let me ask you this, Undefeated, real quick. We got 200 on. I appreciate it. If you could get 200 thumbs up, that would be the goal. Out of these freshmen just right here, which freshman has kind of made your ears perk up? When you're reading your sites, when you're watching your footage out there, which freshman has seemed to kind of jump off? Outside of Ryan Williams, okay? We're going to get to him. But Jalen Mbakwe, man, like, this guy has it. State champ, right? Plays at a very high level. Really, really high ceiling. All right. Kevin, I appreciate you, man. Thank you so much for being here. Jay Lindsey. Yesterday when I was looking at the tight end footage, CJ Dupree, man, he's athletic. And he was moving around really good. And if I had to rank the tight ends right now, I'd go CJ Dupree, Robbie Oots, and then David, I appreciate you, man. Thank you for the super chat. I would have those as my two top guys, right? Jay Lindsey's another guy that was brought in. He's 250 pounds. He put on 20 pounds. And he looks athletic as well, right? I think there's some tight ends who are going to get playing time before him, but he's going to be that guy as well. And then Justin Okoronkwo. Look, type J. No, type O. If you've heard good things about Justin Okoronkwo already. I don't know when he's going to play. Guy is from Germany. Coach Saban said if he played more that he'd be a 5-star. Okay, so David's heard good things. I have heard good things. Type in O for Justin Okoronkwo. See, Byron. Greg, Danny Lewis looks big out there, man. He's a big dude. Thank you for bringing his name to my attention. I probably have him third behind Robbie Oots. Robbie Oots, 270 pounds. Okay, see, Byron saying so I got David, Byron, and Byron saying 0, for Justin Okoronkwo. Justin Okoronkwo, man, he's a big dude, and I think Garrett, I think you're hitting the O, because the I is right next to the O. Maybe you're hitting the wrong letter. All right, Noah Carter. Look, this wolf position. Look at the guys ahead of Noah Carter right now. And by the way, I'll never forget Noah Carter's highlight tape. That guy was like playing on offense at wide receiver, returning kicks. So he's at that wolf position. So that's a guy that can get after the quarterback. Think of your Dallas Turner, William Anderson of the past. Right now ahead of him, Q-Rob, Keanu Coate, Quay Russo. Those are the guys. But Noah Carter certainly in the fold as well. He's put on 22 pounds, right? Red Morgan. Coach Kane Womack yesterday had great things to say about him and was like, and I'll get to my callers in just a minute. Let me finish this freshman report. I'm running through the list. Red Morgan, second team Husky, but a guy that can play now, right? Some guys can be second team or third team, but I think Red Morgan, Xavier Brown, those are two guys that we didn't really talk too much about when they first came in, but Kane Womack said that he's absolutely, look, can you imagine? Look at all these freshmen. These freshmen are going to play, right? Freshmen don't play at Alabama. These guys are going to play. Ryan Williams put on 10 pounds now at 100. Said, I don't care how much he weighs. I really don't. And the reason I don't is because Devontae Smith, what was he, like 130 pounds when he played here? And he absolutely sliced up everybody. Ryan Williams bigger than Devontae Smith. Ryan Williams, man, running routes, catching passes. You saw that picture by the Tuscaloosa News where he was out there one-handing it. Someone put it side by side by Devontae Smith. Expectations are super, super high for this guy to catch for 1,000 yards. Look, as of 5 practices, the guy is making plays. Will he play in the first game? Yeah, right? Will he catch passes? For sure. It's going to take time. So just go easy on these freshmen and let them develop, right? I was watching that thing with Coach Saban yesterday in the Chicago Bears. You guys see that on social media? And he was talking about what Peyton Manning in his first season in the NFL threw, 28 interceptions, the most ever. And he was like, you have to let if you go off expectations, you'll always fail, right? You have to work on the craft, and it takes time. That's what these guys are doing right now, working on the craft. Jalen Waddle, 165 pounds. Jalen Waddle, man, I miss him. It was crazy just watching how good he was here. Crazy. Rico Scott, number 11, making plays. You saw him make the one-handed catch. So when you're out there watching your footage, he's number 11, Rico Scott doing his thing. And then Xavier Brown, starting corner. If Alabama had a game today, I know he has that cast on. Doesn't sound like it's going to be a huge issue. I would imagine it's off in a couple weeks, if not sooner than that. And Zay Mincy. I think out of all the corners, and this is just my opinion, okay, he might have the highest ceiling. I don't know if he's probably behind Mbakwe just by a little bit. And, of course, behind Xavier Brown. But I think his overall ceiling is ultra high. I mean, he's one of the bigger corners. 6'3", right? So that's kind of that's a freshman port. And I wanted to talk about those freshmen because they've been putting in work. They've been grinding. And as freshman news comes in, I'll continue. I'll have another freshman report probably in another week or so. But just wanted to update you. And I hope you like the video. So definitely hit the thumbs up, like, and subscribe. All right, let's go back to the phone lines at 770. Been patient. Hey, what's going on? You're on the line with Kyle Henderson. Who am I on the line with, and where are you calling in from?
Hey, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, man. Go ahead.
I want to say, by the way, I am calling this from Georgia, so I'm going to let you know. I want to say I was worried about a secondary.
Uh-huh.
I'm not even worried about it no more. I'm more worried on the offensive line because when you hear the offensive line coach say how many players are being inconsistent,
mm-hmm.
That kind of concerns me right there.
I think when you look to Alabama's offensive line this year, that's an area that we're watching. But last year, they certainly underperformed, right? We can all agree on that. Whether it was the missed snaps, whether guys were getting beat on the outside, Texas straight up beat Alabama in the trenches. It happens. I've seen it happen a couple times throughout my career. Doesn't happen often. It happened against Michigan. It happened against Texas. Look, guys are getting more athletic. You got to be able to stop guys coming off the edge. It's just, it's basically the NFL now, like a pre-NFL. Tennessee was very good. In the trenches, ironically, Caden Proctor was SEC Freshman of the Week in that game. He was kind of up and down. Now, I want to set something straight, okay? Yesterday, when these heights and weights came out, Caden Proctor is heavier than what he was on the roster. So he's at 6'7", 369, and people were like, oh, he's too heavy. No. He added muscle. I think he was too fat last year, right? I think he just had too much belly fat. He was slow. He is a type of person who could add on muscle and get faster. He's a different human. So just kind of want to put that out there. And look, Tyler Booker lost 25 pounds to be more athletic at that guard position. I can't even imagine how much faster he's going to be. And Parker Brailsford, he added, 20 pounds? So now he's at 290 pounds, came in at 275. I'm optimistic about this offensive line. I really am. And I feel that Coach Kapilovic will get these guys going. So, the right tackle position, Wilcom Formby, look, that is a position he's going to have to hold on to that because Elijah Pritchett is going to be battling him. But like Greg is saying, we're too damn heavy and too slow. You were the biggest offensive line in the NFL. That's not a good thing. The NFL knows what works, and being overweight is not it. Go ahead, man. I missed your first name. What was your first name?
My first name is Lucas.
All right, Lucas, get it.
From District.
Yeah, get another point in, man, before I take my next call. 786, hang tight, man. Go ahead, Lucas.
Okay, like I said, I am happy with our secondary, but I think our offensive line, it is looking better. It is going to get improved, and I got one more thing for you. I hang up. I am worried about this recruiting class just right now because Auburn and Ohio State is trying to flip a running back away from BAMA. Yeah. We're fixing to probably lose another Alabama guy, so.
Well, thanks for the call, Lucas. I appreciate you calling in from Georgia, man. Take it easy. Lucas with a good call from Georgia. Look, regarding Turbo Rogers, in case you missed it, he is, I guess, on Flip Watch, according to Tom Loy of CBS 24/7, and I think Steve Whitfam reported that like a month ago. Flip season, are we here? It's kind of always flip season until the guys are actually signed. I think Turbo Rogers is a high caliber running back, and you got to keep the in-state guys. I know Auburn's doing their thing with in-state recruiting right now, but you still have to win on the field, and it only takes one game, one bad showing for you not to be the cool school anymore, for you to lose momentum. If Auburn comes out, I haven't even looked at Auburn's football schedule. Let me bring that up real quick. Auburn football schedule for 2024. Let's just look at their schedule real quick. I don't have the schedules memorized. They got Alabama, A&M, California, New Mexico, Arkansas. Okay, so they're going to have momentum early on in the season. Then it gets, a little bit dicey because they have Oklahoma on the 28th. They have Georgia at Georgia on the 5th. They have Missouri at Missouri on the 19th. They have Kentucky. They have Vanderbilt. Then the back-end schedule includes Louisiana Monroe, Texas A&M, and Alabama. Look, the games against so my point is this recruiting momentum can go sideways really, really fast. You got to be able to, not only hang on to the guys and get them to commit, but you also have to have them be able to sign. Nobody is signed. Not Alabama. None of the guys from Alabama have signed either, right? You got to maintain that momentum throughout the year. We got another caller. We got 786 who's been patient. We'll take it right now. Hey, what's going on? You're on the line with Kyle Henderson. Who am I on the line with and where are you calling in from?
Going on, Kyle? It's Chad from Miami. I haven't spoken to you in a minute.
Chad, what's up, man? I appreciate you, man. Let's just call it Happy New Year, man. I appreciate you calling in from Miami, man. What's up, man? Which way you want to take it, man? It's your show. Go ahead.
I got a few points, man. So my first point is I'm not really worried about all the commits that are coming in. They're kids, man. They haven't really fully made up their mind yet. I understand it's some have committed and it is flip season, but a lot of these kids are going to change their mind during the season once they start seeing how these teams are against each other, and then on top of that, the win-loss record. So I'm pretty sure a lot of these kids are going to be flipping during the season. I see Bama making the playoffs and having a 10-2 record. I know we got a crazy schedule with 2 byes, but I have them in a 10-2 record. I think it'll be okay as long as Kalen DeBoer makes the playoffs. But I think we're gonna go 10-2, or if not, I'll say the best is 11-1. We're gonna at least lose one game.
How do you see that back end? If there's a loss, let's take it one thing at a time. I think everybody would quickly point to maybe they lose that game against Georgia, right? Because it's just Georgia. They could actually, a lot of people feel they're going to win that game. Lynn, what's up, man? Good to see you inside the comment box. But on that back end schedule, I think that's where it gets dicey for Alabama. Road games against Tennessee, against LSU, on the road against Oklahoma. Missouri comes to Alabama. There's a lot that could go wrong in that back end. Is there a particular game on the back end of Alabama's schedule? I don't know if you have Alabama's schedule in front of you, but when you look to that back end, it's way more challenging, in my opinion, than the front end. What are your thoughts on that, Chad?
I'm looking at it now. The only concerning games I see from the get-go is definitely Georgia, and then I'm not really sweating Oklahoma because they have no offense. Remember their quarterback transferred to
Oregon.
Oregon. And then I'll say the only games we really got to worry about is probably Missouri and Tennessee. Tennessee has a new quarterback. They moved on from Joe Milton.
Mm-hmm.
He can throw a ball a million miles, but he couldn't complete anything short or intermediate.
Yeah.
And then I'll probably say Auburn, man, because Iron Bowl, like it's kind of like a it's like a sibling rivalry with Auburn. I know they're probably not going to win a lot of games this season. They might go like 6-6 or if not 7-5 or whatever. But you never know the outcome of that game. So
For sure.
I'll say the two games you got to worry about is probably Missouri and Auburn. LSU, they have a lot of transfer on defense, but I don't really think they're really going to be a big threat, especially when they have a new quarterback coming in also.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I just think, I mean, when you look to the back end of Alabama's schedule, and thank you for adding Auburn, that was one team that I didn't add. For whatever reason, the games at Bryant-Denny seem to favor Alabama more against Auburn, but when you go down to the Plains and you play at Jordan-Hare Stadium, it seems like all bets are off. It just seems like that game is completely even, no matter how talented each team is or how less talented, it just seems like all bets are off down on the Plains. I looked at games against Tennessee and LSU to be challenging for Alabama because of the fact that Coach Kalen DeBoer has not played on the road in an SEC type environment. Now, with that said, he'll get, the road games for Alabama are tough. Going to Wisconsin, I know Alabama fans feel really confident about that game still. Going up to Camp Randall, that'll be challenging. Your quarterback, he's an experienced quarterback. Going on the road to Tennessee, going on the road to LSU, going on to the road to Oklahoma. Who knows what the weather will be like at that point in time in Oklahoma. High Plains, who knows? I have no idea. But it is a gauntlet of a schedule for Alabama, and if they're able to win that game against Georgia, I think it kind of sets the tone for the rest of the season. The game against Georgia comes at a perfect time in the season because if they lose that game, they have an opportunity to do what they did last year when they lost to Texas, and that's forge together as a unit, have that link mentality, and power through. Plus, this year, not to say that you can lose games, but you can lose games this year and still make the college football playoffs because of the format. Anything else, Chad? Why don't you hit on one more point? I got two in the call queue, 706-512. Hang tight.
Basically, I wanted to say, Jalen Milroe, he has a lot of things to improve on, basically like footwork, decision making, reading defense and accuracy. Pretty much, I think Alabama got spoiled when we had Bryce Young, Mac Jones, and Tua. We had a pocket present quarterback. So I think that's what the fans are used to right now, or whatever. So they're kind of spoiled with that. So they think that he need to develop a little bit better. And I think that we haven't had a 1,000-yard receiver since J-Mo and Mechie, man. So we really need the wide receivers room to develop and help out the quarterback. And then I'm also happy about Jahad Campbell and Deontay Lawson. I think it's the first time since 2006 where two cover linebackers can go in the first round since Bobby Carpenter and A.J. Hawk from Ohio State.
Yep.
And then one point you made was you said Jahad Campbell might go ahead of Deontay Lawson. I do think Jahad Campbell is more talented than Deontay Lawson, but I think Deontay Lawson will go before him because Deontay Lawson is a play caller and he sets the defense. You saw it last year when the Baltimore Ravens basically, they drafted Patrick Queen from LSU, but he struggled his first couple of years because he couldn't call the defense. And
great point.
He didn't really know where to line up, but then they brought in the guy from Georgia. I forgot his name. But he played for Chicago, the Ravens linebacker, and he started setting the defense, and the Ravens defense took off from there.
I like that point. Yeah, good point, Chad. I appreciate you calling in, man. Good to rap with you, man. It's been a minute, man. Hit me up anytime, and I appreciate you calling in, man.
All right, thanks, man. Oh, Roquan Smith is his name. Roquan Smith.
Roquan Smith, man. Good ad. All right, take it easy, man. That's my boy Chad calling in from Miami. We got a 706 and a 512. I appreciate you guys calling in. Kyle Henderson, Bama Football on YouTube. Drop a roll tide, and if you guys want to become a fan funder, I appreciate it. If you guys want to hit the thumbs up, I appreciate it. Become a subscriber, I appreciate it. If you guys want to super chat, I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Also on Spotify or wherever you get your podcasts, you could just type in Bama Football on YouTube. I appreciate it. And of course, news as it happens right here on Bama Football on YouTube. We go to a 706, and we'll take it right now. Hey, good morning. You're on the line with Kyle Henderson. Who am I on the line with, and where are you calling in from?
Hey, Kyle. This is David from Maryland.
David, I appreciate you calling in, man. I hope you're off to a really great Wednesday. Why don't you go ahead and come with it, man? Your show. Take it away, David.
Yeah, I'd like to say that people shouldn't be worried about.
David, I think you
Can you
went
hear
on
me,
like
guys?
Bluetooth or something like that. Try again.
Okay, yeah, I was saying that I don't think that people should be worried too much about the Alabama's definitely offensive line and the game, because I think the team of coaches that DeBoer has put around him and the team, they're going to be awesome. And I think that the SEC is going to underestimate Alabama and the play calling, and I think Alabama's going to be a terror for the SEC this season because of the fact that they're not used to Kevin DeBoer's play calling or anything like that. And Kevin DeBoer and his team is going to do an awesome job because of the simple fact that they got prime real estate.
Oh, my goodness.
With.
Yep.
And they're going to be able to call and set them up for success, and they're going to be unstoppable offensively. And I think that defense, the way they're setting up the defense is going to be a terror. And Alabama's going to be a total different animal from when the old coaches of when you had Tommy Rees. He was an okay coach, but he couldn't do what he could with the talent that Alabama had. He couldn't set them up for success.
Mm-hmm.
And then the defense is going to be simpler, but yet these kids going to be able to play hard, get to the ball, and cause havoc. And that's what I see for Alabama this season.
I appreciate you calling in, man. Call in again anytime, David. I appreciate it, man. Thanks for calling in on the back end of the show. Appreciate you, man.
All right, roll tide.
Roll tide to you, man. A good point. 512. I'll take you in just a second, man. Good point on kind of Alabama, like the SEC not being ready for this style of Alabama. Nobody's seen Coach Kalen DeBoer in this conference. I guess maybe Steve Sarkisian, who's 0-2 against Kalen DeBoer. Dan Lanning's 0-2 against him. That's a good. How about this? Can someone in the undefeated research this? You don't have to look it up right now. But what is the current SEC coaches? What are their records against Kalen DeBoer? Can we look that up? Do we have a statistical guru that we can put? Even if you have to put it post-show, I'd appreciate that. So what I'm looking for is Kalen DeBoer versus head coaches from the SEC. What is the records? Right now, all I can think of is 2-0 against Steve Sarkisian. I'm having trouble multitasking, doing everything else, but that is kind of some good food for thought. Plus, the offense is completely different. The defense is completely different. And then also, one thing that we never talk about, but it's the most key ingredient to any type of season, is the special teams, right? Alabama went out and got the Lou Groza Award winner, right? Number 14, Graham Nicholson. The guy beat out Will Reichard, the guy that we feel that should have a statue. We feel that there needs to be 2 more statues at Alabama, one for Miss Terry and one for Will Reichard, right? Am I right? And Grant Nicholson beat him out for the Lou Groza Award. And the head coach to beat out Nick Saban for the Home Depot Coach of the Year award was Kalen DeBoer, who's here. And then guess what? You also have James Burnap, who I feel is the best punter in America. He put on 20 pounds. All right, this is our last call of the day, 512. Hey, what's going on? You're on the line with Kyle Henderson. Who am I on the line with and where are you calling it from?
This is Curtis. I'm in Austin.
Curtis, what's up, man? I appreciate you calling from Austin, man. Is there any update on the Texas running back? I know he went down yesterday with the injury. Has anything around C.J. Baxter? Has there been any updates or anything like that on C.J. Baxter that anyone has seen?
No, I haven't seen any reports on him.
Yeah, I saw he got hurt yesterday with a knee injury, so I guess we'll just keep track, man. Anyways, man, come with it. Appreciate you being a part of the show.
You know, I talked to you on your first show about 5 years ago.
That's amazing. That's a long time. Yeah, we're doing...
You've come a long way, buddy. Back then, it was just a little rinky-dink with you and some studio somewhere with nobody around you taking calls.
Yeah, it's funny. If you go back and look at kind of the shows, I think I've been doing this now for 8 years. You go back, like I started doing the show probably like 7 years ago. And at that point in time, there was no other like call-in shows or
about 7 years ago.
Right. Now you look at all of the shows that have popped up. It's pretty amazing to see kind of how media has transformed. So there's plenty of great content creators out there doing their thing. So I appreciate you kind of seeing the metamorphosis of the channel. And one of my goals this year was to elevate the product, right? Because there's a lot of people that you can just kind of turn it on, but you got to have the delivery, you got to have the graphics, all this stuff. So one of my goals is to continue to elevate.
Yeah, you've done a good job developing your channel, and I think your show is the best on YouTube.
Thank you. I really appreciate that. Yeah.
My question is, I haven't heard you evaluate our new place kicker. I'm kind of worried about that.
It's funny you should ask, because I was just talking about Grant Nicholson. He will have an opportunity. So you have him, and then you have Connor Talty. And I put out a video, literally after A-Day, I put out a video, and I was like, the only position that I'm really concerned about is the kicking position. I have no idea how good Connor Talty will be. It's just replacing Will Reichard. I think that's he was money. He certainly took away any type of anxiety that we had when kicking a field goal, even an extra point.
Right.
I thought it was probably so. If I had to rank the transfers coming into Alabama, even ahead of Caden Proctor, I would list Grant Nicholson in terms of being the number one transfer that Alabama added. I would list him as the number one transfer because of the impact. He's going to lead the team in scoring this year. Okay. Number 2, I'd put Caden Proctor. Number 3, I'd probably put Keon Sapp. So we haven't seen him kick yet because he just got here. We will see a scrimmage. I think it's Saturday or Sunday. I'm sure, he'll be up for it. Now, kicking at Miami of Ohio, that there's a different pressure level than kicking a game-winning field goal against Georgia. So, and that can only be found out during, crunch time. But, he won the award. He beat out Will Reichard, so, you have to feel good about it. But until you actually kick inside Bryant-Denny Stadium with 103,000 screaming and kind of do or die, will we know how good you are.
Yeah.
Lynn Shanifield is saying that he was kicking 58. Hold on. Lynn Shanifield is saying he was kicking 58-yard field goals yesterday in practice. That's crazy.
Okay, so I won't have to wring my hands every time we go out to kick a field goal, like 6 years ago.
Man, there was some tough times.
55 years.
Yeah, man, there was some tough times. I appreciate you calling in, man.
God bless.
All right, man, take it easy. All right. Lynn with a nice little nugget saying that he was kicking 58-yard field goals yesterday at practice. So there you go. Now, if you can do that, and that was the thing, is Will Reichard's range, what was it? What was his longest? Was 52 or something like that? You get a guy that can kick 55 and out. Shoot, in a 2-minute situation, it kind of takes pressure off the offense too, because you have such an added weapon behind you. All right. Fam, I appreciate you guys joining me today right here on Bama Football on YouTube. Please hit the thumbs up, subscribe. Stay tuned for more videos as I post them. Now with my schedule, getting the kids back, I will be live at 9 a.m. If you like the content, think about becoming a fan funder. Only $2.99. Think about super chatting. Goes a long way. This is what I do for a livelihood. News as it happens right here on Bama Football on YouTube. I'm trying the best that I can to provide quality content on the Alabama Crimson Tide. I hope you guys have enjoyed this morning segment right here on Bama Football on YouTube. I know there's plenty of other great content creators that have really good YouTube channels, and think about supporting them too. Everybody's putting their best foot forward to cover the team that you love, and I'm glad that you guys were able to spend an hour with me covering the Alabama Crimson Tide. From beautiful Tuscaloosa, Alabama, my name is Kyle Henderson of Bama Football on YouTube. Have a great day and roll Tide. I'll see you guys next time. Thank you so much for watching.